Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 7, Episode 52, 2024 releases a look back. In tonight's rebroadcast, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the releases of the DJI Air 3S and the DJI Neo. And of course, I was joined by Mr. Marcus Crawford and Mr. Ron Braun. So without any further ado, let's play those rebroadcasts in their entirety. Sorry about Barkley. Wow. So his got held up in customs.
Yeah, let's see who else. Somebody else is waiting for theirs too. What's funny is, Barkley and Jenna ordered exactly at the same time. Their model. They came in on the same airplane. Jenna got hers. His is stuck in customs.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, well, and I got to say this, okay? Because I know we're pretty much going to spend the whole evening talking about it. Marcus, that was the longest firmware update I think I have ever seen in my life.
That was a pretty healthy update, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's like right off the bat, it's like I'm firing things up and I'm like, holy crap. This thing is like, and then I did a YouTube short on it, and it took me a full minute talking at 100% speed to get everything out. I mean, because I had to shoot it like 3 times because I couldn't get it out. It was just so much.
I think it's pretty common that they don't add all the new features in. They do it all on that first update, and so we've seen that in the past.
Yeah, and that's the first thing I wanted to go over this with everybody because I know I had a bazillion questions directed to me about this, and added free panorama, added support for 10-bit video transmission. Added photo capture at 50 megapixel resolution for wide-angle camera and 48 megapixel resolution for medium telecamera. Redesigned the focus track to optimize the user experience and improve flight stability while using in complex environments. Optimized the effective time of the allow quick transfer and sleep feature, extending it from within 6 hours after power off to within 12 hours. Optimized photo and video quality. Increase the photo capture speed at 12 megapixel resolution, increase the maximum obstacle avoidance and maximum following speed to 15 meters per second, improve the obstacle avoidance performance, return to home safety of urban night scenes, and fix some known issues. Wow. Okay. Wow.
By the way, that return to home stuff is flipping cool. Of course, I was just out at the canyon when I flew mine, and I just now got back and just now got a chance to look at the results. But I know Johnny flew his right into his garage. I haven't looked at Jerry Bauer's video yet, but he said he flew his right back into his garage automatically. There.
I think I might want to try that. Well, you probably saw that video that Ron had posted, obviously overseas, maybe, China, right. Of it flying back into that apartment. And, the thing with me on that, and I don't know, the one thing that I pointed out right away was you only saw the screen recording. You didn't see the video from the drone itself. So yeah. I'm like, let's see here. But from hearing what you're saying about Johnny, and
I think it'll do it, Bill.
Yeah, I think you're right. I really do. And that's what I'm going to do. I'll try just doing it back into the garage.
My first return to home from my very first flight, I was right on the edge of the canyon, and the dang thing landed like an airplane. It just dove in, and I'm going, wow, am I going to have to get out of the way? It was fast, but it came screeching to a halt right above the landing pad, looked down and said, yeah, okay, I'm good. Plop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, we got a lot to talk about tonight, and it just because I've gotten my inbox is just like bulging at the seams. People throwing a bazillion questions. That's always a good thing.
Hey, Bill, I want to know if I'm safe. DJI is asking me to fill out a questionnaire. Is that, am I going to give up any United States military secrets?
Oh, I don't know. People may find out how far you're away from the Snake River Canyon. That could be detrimental to national security. There's an interesting article out, and it was out on the 18th, but DJI explains how to avoid costly drone flyaway incidents. And a flyaway is one of the most dreaded scenarios, turning a day capturing stunning aerial footage into a frantic search for their lost drone, okay? Fully charged batteries in advance, scout the environment for safe conditions. Prior to flight, go to the DJI Fly app before you fly to assess geozones for potential flight restrictions. Once you've confirmed no flight restrictions, check the weather forecasting condition, the buildings in the area before flying. Choose open spaces away from densely populated areas and buildings for a smooth flight in good weather here. Thoroughly check your drone. Before powering on a drone, don't forget to give your drone a comprehensive check. The drone surface is free of damages, cracks, or loose parts. The gimbal protector or clamp is removed. The lens and obstacle avoidance systems are clean and dust-free. The propellers are securely installed and properly unfolded. Confirm settings right before flight. Confirm obstacle avoidance action. Ensure that obstacle avoidance is enabled and obstacle avoidance action is set to either bypass or brake. For beginners, it's recommended to select brake. Confirm sensor status. Verify the compass and IMU sensors are normal. Confirm stick mode. Ensure that the stick mode is set to your preferred and commonly used mode. Set up return to home mode for a safe return home. Tap the icon in the upper right-hand corner, safety, auto return helm altitude. Set the return helm altitude to be higher than the surrounding obstacles. Set aircraft signal lost action. Safety, advanced settings, signal lost. Strongly recommended to select return to home as the action to be executed when disconnected. Confirm home point updated. Wait until GPS turns white before you hear the voice prompt. Home point updated before taking off with your drone. Avoid reckless flights in dangerous situations. Low battery warning. Frequent strong wind warnings. Signal icon turning red. Weak video transmission signal. Weak GPS signal. Okay. Just some great handy tips there. There he is. There's Mr. DJI Neo himself right there.
Yeah,
Mr. Neo.
Well, now Mr. Air 3S.
Okay. Interesting, Ron, that you had that strap on there because I had the same one. Mine doesn't fit.
Oh yeah, the two holes in the bottom are exactly the same. But the
thing for me was my Air 3S is too wide for those, and I noticed that Start RC, who sells that, they have another one out there, and where it goes up here and around this area up here around the front of the props, not the back of the props.
Oh wow, huh? Yeah,
because I tried to get mine on, and it was almost like forcing it, and I said, "Nah, we're going to stop here, okay? I don't want to throw a wrench into the works there." So,
well, that's interesting. And I on an update on stuff fitting, Johnny Droneflyer, congrats, Johnny Droneflyer, he got his Air 3S date. He already confirms it fits in the Start RC hard case, even with the bigger gimbal and camera bump.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ron. I have even bigger Johnny Droneflyer news. This is huge. And by the way, I asked Johnny's permission to be able to pass this along to everybody. He flew his Air 3S at over 54 miles an hour today.
Whoa.
I couldn't get mine out of the 40s. That's Johnny. He's got that left foot.
Well, let me tell you, he gave me the answer to that too, Ron. I had the same thing as out over the canyon. That 47 miles an hour was as fast as I could get it to go, 21 meters per second. You got to go into the gain and expo settings, and you got to crank that speed up. I wouldn't have known that if Johnny hadn't have given me told me to that. And Lon literally chewed Johnny out. He said, "Don't you guys ever read the manual?" "No, Lon, we don't."
No. So in the gate, one more time, I don't even hear the manual. In the gain and expo settings, he did what?
Turned up the speed, baby.
Okay.
Cranked up the top speed.
Gotcha. And I think Billy did show that in his video. Hey, listen, Bill, it happened to me last night. I had some kind of sound issue where I couldn't hear Marcus and Lauren's show, and I switched to different speakers. Now you guys are so loud, it's hurting my ears. And I put up with it for an hour and a half last night. It's not you guys, but somehow the volumes, I haven't turned down number one, and 0 is off. I have no sound in a 1. You guys, like, I can hear you down the street. So I want to go in and refigure. I can't do the rest of the show with I sound like I'm at a rock concert. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on with my sound. And I'll pop right back in again. It happened last night in the middle of the show, and I couldn't fix it, and I forgot about it. And let me just pop out, and I'll pop back in as soon as I figure out what's going on.
That's fine.
And before I leave, how about Go Steeler Nation, Bill?
Oh, I got some thoughts about that. We'll talk at the end of the show about that. But yeah, I got some good thoughts on that score here. So, what I just went over are I'm glad they put this article out, Marcus, because it's so good for people. You're all ready. You go out there, and something happens, and 9 times out of 10, if you follow what they say in this article, I would bookmark this article and keep it handy as a handy reference, especially for new flyers, and every now and then for experienced flyers to read through this article and make sure that you follow the advice that they give here, because a lot of times, a lot of these accidents can be avoided. Like, for example, ignoring a low battery warning. All right. That's going to come back to bite you in the rear end. Ignoring a high speed warning. Again, you keep pushing through something like that, it's going to chew up battery, and you're not going to be able to get your drone back home. Flying when, let's say it may be foggy or something. All right. Bad vibes. Just, go with a lot of your common sense, but also go, set your return home height properly for the area that you're in. Okay. It may change for you from, say, flying at the park that you fly in to flying out at the canyon to flying at the dam.
I think this Air 3S, you could put it at 0. Wouldn't matter. The drone's going to find its way.
And I think we got Ron back.
I finally got my volume things fixed.
Good.
Thanks for that. Sorry for popping
Good deal. No, I was talking about an article that was on Drone DJ about some tips how to avoid losing your drone. And it was really just a lot of common sense things. Checking the weather that you fly in. Don't ignore high wind warnings. Don't ignore low battery warnings. Set your return home height properly for the environment that you're in. Making sure your calibrations are all okay. Just some basic stuff, and it's really good. And I was telling Marcus, it's really good for all of us to do this every now and then, to just, kind of refresh ourselves with some things, because, when you ignore stuff, when you ignore warnings, that's when things are going to happen. If you take off before there's a proper number of satellites, that's going to be bad news. It's just, you want to, your drone is so smart and so intelligent. Let it do its thing. All right. Give it a minute.
Bill, one of the things I do, and you see it in most of my videos, is I have a safety checklist that I go through every time. If you look at my videos, first thing I start off with is that safety tab, just looking things over to make sure, just what you said, let's see what the drone needs and take care of it.
Absolutely.
And of course, even if you don't go to the safety tab, the drone in the upper left-hand corner gives you a lot of warnings.
Right.
Even if you forget to go to that tab, the drone gives you a lot of warning. Like the drone will warn you the compass error. I get you see the compass error, IMU error, things like that. So even if again, what Marcus does is the best, but even if you don't do that, you still get warnings from the drone itself. So Marcus, you made this statement, I guess a couple years ago, with these modern drones. Well, I'll take it right to the Air 3S with all the safety features. You really got to try hard to lose that drone.
You got to work at it. You got to work pretty hard.
You got to work at it. It's
I mean, the way it returns home, and Bill, you talk about raising your proper height. That's always a good thing. But even if you forget to return to the proper height, as long as again the drone has enough light, and now with that LiDAR sensor, it'll make its way around a tall building.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Bill, would you like to see a pano taken with the Air 3S?
Yes.
That
Please go
new
ahead and
pano,
play
Marcus.
that.
What do they call that new pano?
Well, I tried that and it works really good. I can't remember what they call it, the free pano.
Free
So
panorama, yeah.
you set the start, you set the finish, and it automatically and it works quite well.
Wow.
But this one was a oh god, I forget all the names of their panos, but let me see if I can request.
Gary Bauer saying I
Present.
think pano is great.
Share screen. Let me see if I can find the right tab here, Bill. Yeah, I'm going to do entire screen is what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
want to see
go-
the whole thing.
Yep, I'm going to click share, and then I'm going to switch over to that picture. Maybe. There we go.
Wow.
Oh,
that's
wow.
Yeah, and that's with that 1-inch sensor. And as you can see, it's kind of a semi-cloudy day. So the lighting conditions probably weren't the best. But
You still had enough blue sky there. I mean, it probably softened the light a little bit for you. Is that 50 megapixel feature we hear about, or is that just the 12?
You know what, Ron? You've got me at a disadvantage.
If you didn't go into settings and turn 50 on, then it's a 12.
I did not. I didn't know anything about the 50 megapixel setting. So this has got to be just the 12.
You know what they would say, Marcus? Read that manual, huh?
Well, Lon would rip me for that, but yeah. Here's another one. So yeah. So one of them is this is the 180, I guess, is what this is. Yeah. And the next one is this is the wide angle. And
that's the one I kind of prefer. That and then that's the
there's vertical right
shot.
Yeah. And here's a video sample if you want to see this.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is facing the sun. So
okay.
And again, you can see it's kind of a cloudy day. It wasn't the best day to be out there.
I've seen a lot worse. It's not terrible.
Yeah. Now, if you look kind of in the center of the picture, you will see the Swan Falls Dam come into view.
Okay.
Look out there off into the distance.
Okay. Way in the distance. I see it.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, to me, this looks like the dynamic range is pretty good on this. The shadows aren't crushed, and the highlights are good too.
Well, in the color science, it's just what it looks like to me. It's very, very natural.
Yeah.
So then I did some panoramas facing the dam as well, and so that is the 180, and there's a wide angle. And like Ron said, that's one of my favorites too. Is that wide angle?
Wide angle is a really good shot, Marcus.
Yeah,
I like that.
As opposed to the 180, it's 21 pictures that it takes and stitches them together, and then there's the
vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's less photo stitched. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really good. One of the things I want to do before we get going here is I know Marcus told me that Barclays is held up in customs, but I wanted to go ahead and talk about there's an article here that was on Drone DJ about that. Lawmakers condemn DJI's U.S. Customs blocks Air 3S drone imports. Okay, and of course Stefaniak and Molinaire are talking about the CCP and the Waggers and all that kind of good stuff. But DJI's response, customs misunderstanding, not a ban. DJI's countered the accusations, describing the customs-related issues as misunderstanding and rejecting the claims of forced labor as entirely unfounded. A spokesman from DJI clarified, this is a customs matter, and the evidence clearly demonstrates DJI's compliance with existing laws. It's important to note that this is not a ban and does not appear to be linked to the proposed legislation against DJI in the U.S. Congress. DJI's statement emphasizes the company does not operate or source materials from Xinjiang, the region at the heart of the UFLPA concerns. According to the company, all its manufacturing is based in Shenzhen and Malaysia, outside the scope of the UFLPA's presumptions. The company also highlights its compliance with international labor standards and U.S. regulations, including Section 307 of the Tariff Act of 1930 and relevant occupational safety certifications. Okay. And talks more about implications and everything here. But, Marcus did tell me that Barclays was held up, but, and I think Ken's was still held up. I mean, he had ordered.
He came in the show last night and said his stall was stuck in customs.
So, who knows who knows why that's happening. Okay.
Yeah. And the bigger point is a lot more are getting through than getting stuck. I mean, when I'm going to say not 90-some% are getting through. So I think, but we thought was going to be the big story this week. And the Air 3S does not make it to consumers, turned out to be not such a big story.
Yeah. And mine was temporarily held twice down in Miami. But then it got released.
That's where Ken's was.
Yeah. Mine got released very quickly. There wasn't any issues there. So
yeah, mine had some. When it was in New York City, it had, I don't know if it had that thing that somebody else's drone had X something, but I mean that status disappeared quickly, and it was on its way.
Yeah, that was it for me too. It was there for about a couple hours, and then I went out there and checked again, and then I saw it was cleared, so I knew it was going to be okay.
Now, do you think any of this had to do with? Well, you probably had this in the stories. I don't want to talk about too much. The DJI lawsuit. Do you think this kind?
Yeah, we had just talked about that, but I don't think these are tied. I really don't. I think that's completely separate. And I found out today, as I told Marcus, former Attorney General Loretta Lynch, part of the Obama administration, she is the lead counsel for DJI and suing the government. Which it's ironic. Okay, here was a former Attorney General of the United States representing a company that's suing basically the Attorney General of the United States and the government.
Wow.
So, go figure that.
Hey, just to follow up with Ron, you do have to update the batteries. I got an inconsistent firmware on one of the new batteries, Ron, so it's updating it right now.
That's funny. I think I've flown all 3 batteries after today, and I never got that warning. Isn't that weird?
Well, I noticed it on so the first flight I flew was the battery I had when I did the big update.
Right.
And the second flight, I stuck that in there, and I noticed it was asking for an update, but I was out there at the canyon, so I didn't do it.
Could it not ask me because maybe I didn't have my phone hot sync to the controller?
Yeah, I don't know, Ron. It probably would. I don't know. It'd probably still recognize the inconsistency, I would think.
Well, I'm going to try after the show. I'm going to try it in the office where I have full Wi-Fi to the controller.
Yeah. So I'm updating this other battery right now.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm going to go ahead.
All 3 batteries.
We're sending Bill way off the rails. Sorry, Bill.
Bill. Go ahead.
No. This is what it's all about, the Air 3S, and that's why we're here tonight. And then this article on Drone DJ, new DJI Air 3S dual camera drone is perfect for travel shots, and it talks about some of this here, enhanced 10-bit color and ISO capabilities, and some great pictures here, especially at night. Nightscape optical sensing and smart return to home. Flying at night can be challenging, and you should always check the latest FAA requirements for nighttime flying. The Air 3S is equipped with new Nightscape optical sensing technology to make it safer. The drone features forward-facing LiDAR, infrared sensors, and multiple vision sensors to provide 360-degree awareness, helping it detect and avoid obstacles even in low-light environments. This ensures smoother, safer flights when capturing nighttime scenarios. Additionally, the Air 3S includes a next-gen smart return-to-home feature. The system uses real-time vision positioning and mapping to remember its takeoff location, making it possible for the drone to return safely even when GPS signals are weak. This feature is especially helpful when taking off from remote or GPS-limited locations. Longer flights and built-in storage with up to 45 minutes of flight time, the Air 3S provides ample time to scout, plan, and capture the perfect shot, making it ideal for travel photography. Its built-in 42-gigabyte storage means you can capture footage directly onto the drone, reducing the need for external memory cards. The feature, combined with off-state quick transfer allows files to be transferred to smartphone or compliant or computers, even when the drone is powered off, or making it easier to manage on the go. Okay.
I just did that, Bill, and it works great.
You did the file transfer
You
today?
bet. I hooked up with the drone off, and it worked.
Bill,
perfect.
you don't even need a battery in the drone.
Wow. That's just, see, you know what? And Marcus always says this, and I love this. This is one of my favorite things that Marcus says. DJI will put something in this drone that we didn't even think of that we're gonna you were gonna want. You know,
Yeah.
Marcus has always said that. It's one of my favorite things that Marcus has ever said about DJI and drones and stuff.
And Bill, I agree, but it's not brand new. The Action 5 Pro has it. The Neo has it. So it's
Oh,
not brand
okay,
new.
okay. Okay.
In fact, I'm not positive. Did the Avata 2 have it?
I do not believe so. The Neo, I thought, was
The
the
Neo
first
and the
phone
Action
I-
5 Pro both have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing because you know how it is. You know, you got to take the SD card out, put it in a reader, put it in your computer, and here it's all on board. Now, I have a question for the quick file transfer, okay? And it's not stated here. That's from the internal storage that DJI has, correct?
Correct.
But
Okay.
it could do it for the memory card in the drone too, right?
I don't know. I didn't try that, Ron. I
Yeah,
never
that's-
put a memory card in it, so I don't know. I can't say for certain. And like Lon, I'm sorry, I didn't read the manual, so I don't know that answer.
Yeah, that's what one of the
Somebody
things.
was hoping for 5K. What was that other one? 5K 20 megapixel camera, like the Air 2S had.
Well, MHM, I'm reading these articles to get the basis for things to talk about tonight, and I wanted to make some points to make sure that people know about that. Okay.
And it also happens to be your show, Bill. So you know, there's that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, this is a good feature, and I'm really happy about that. Ron, did you hear?
Real quick, Bill? Jay Bird's confirming in the chat that yes, that works with the SD card too. So
Thank you, Jay
the
Bird.
SD card, it'll
great.
quick transfer over too. Thanks, Jay Bird. He got his. He was the first person I saw yesterday on Facebook. He got his like in the morning. He maybe
It
one
looks
more.
like Jerry did his too as well. You know, Ron, did you try any of the smart return to home? Because I know Marcus told me that Johnny did, and it flew into his garage.
Oh wow!
Did you try anything like that today?
I did it, and not that dramatic. It just I've landed it 4 times now, and it's hit the pad. I mean, you know, a couple times dead center. I had one where the one leg was almost off, but it wasn't. I had that in video, whatever. So I've landed it twice after the sun has dropped below the horizon, and it has no trouble finding, you know, almost the center of the pad or near center.
So I know Jerry Bauer has a video up, and Jerry, I haven't watched yours yet, but I did see Johnny's. He posted it on Facebook.
Oh,
And his came right in the garage, landed right between his truck and his golf cart.
wow!
Wow.
Just like that video we saw, I posted on the Drone Nation Facebook group where the guy took off from his like high-rise apartment.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it was true, you know, but I think for me, and I think, you know, my initial reaction was, you know, that was from a screen grab, a screen recording, but not the actual video footage from the drone itself. And I'm like, let's see here. But Johnny confirms that this is true, that it works.
Hey, I want to MHM photography. We're all good. You're good with all of us here.
Yeah, absolutely, MHM. We're good here. You know, were there any surprises for either of you, good or bad, with it? Because I know you've had some flights under your belt. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm probably going to do that maybe Thursday after work. Any pluses, minuses, anything that really kind of stands out to you guys?
You know, nothing yet. I know I'm going to sound like such a fanboy, but I was just thinking about that right before the show. There is no other manufacturer that is even close to the capabilities that this drone provides. They don't even exist. It's pretty wild.
And Bill, I'll say it a little bit different than Marcus. I mean, basically the Air 3S is just a refined version of the Air 3. So there really wasn't a whole lot to go wrong. It's just like take the Air 3 and make a lot of stuff a little bit better, you know. So there's almost no downsides and upsides that I didn't expect or whatever. You know, I mean, we knew so many leaks of whatever. I kind of haven't found anything I didn't know about yet. I don't think. You know, I mean, it's all good. I mean, the a lot of things maybe you didn't like about. If you didn't like something about the Air 3, they're probably still here too. Like, okay, here, Bob Casey brought this up on the show last night, Bill. He always wanted to be able to change from the 1X camera to the 3X camera without stopping the video. Well, that hasn't changed on the 3S. You still need to stop the video before you go from the 1X to the 3X camera. Here's something I didn't know, Bill. Maybe you guys heard this. They advertise they have 14 step stops of dynamic range. Some people have been saying on the internet on reviews that 14 stops is only in standard video mode, and I don't know if they're trying to say it has less stops in D-Log-M or what's the other one, HLG or whatever. So I don't have that refined, but to me that's good news that you don't have to go into some special mode to get all those 14 stops of dynamic range. That's right in standard mode.
That's good. That's really good to hear. The one thing, and it's not connected with the drone, that I've gotten out of it since it's come, is it's still not on Amazon. It's still, you can still get it through the mothership, which is really interesting because I thought by this point in time that, you know, you would see Amazon have it listed. You would see your Best Buys and Adorama.
Something's going on, Bill. Something's going on.
Yeah, you're right. Something is going on.
Did you hear Lauren on our show last night? Lauren said that we asked about, is there any shipping problems in Canada? And Lauren said, no, it was available in Best Buy on release date.
And dynamic.
If you were Canadian, you could walk into your local store and pick one up last Tuesday. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I mean, I'm really, just finding out why. I mean, it just, and I got to believe all this stuff going on with the government has something to do with this. It's just messed up. But I'll tell you what, the one thing I will say that I won't say pleasantly surprised, but very happy about was DJI stuck to its time frame with when they say it was going to be delivered. And kudos to DHL because, they really basically left the United States several years ago as far as shipping within the United States. You can still obviously overseas and get it here in the United States, but shipping, it's not. They try to be competitive with FedEx and UPS, and it didn't work for them. But evidently, international, they do very well. And the one thing that impressed me, and I don't know about you, in your area, I got a phone call from the driver about 10 minutes before she was supposed to stop off. She wanted to know because I had to sign for it. Is somebody home to sign for it? And I was like, wow.
Phone call, wow.
And it happened last time I got something from DHL too. Calls me up, is somebody home to sign for it? I was like, wow, okay, this is good stuff. I really like that. And great people. I mean, really great people. Friendly, on time. And you know what? You know what's great? Okay. I always put, like, if I do business with a certain company and I do a lot of business with them, I asked their shipping department, I said, please, if you could have it shipped, either FedEx or USPS or anything than UPS. Because what happens with UPS is where I live, the UPS hub is all on the way on the other side of Tampa. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I don't get UPS items till like almost 8:00 at night. All right.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. So there's a ham radio company I do business with in Ohio, and I've told them specifically, and I have it marked on. It's marked on my portfolio is to ship either FedEx or USPS, not UPS, because of that.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. But
Bill, you were looking for cons, and this was in Billy Kyle's one of his early videos on the Air 3S, and it's happened to me on my first flight too, and I haven't seen since. When I took off flying, it gained altitude on its own, just flying straight ahead down toward the fishing pier at the beach. it started gaining altitude until I kind of forced it down. I didn't. Then after that it was okay. I didn't see it on the next 3 flights, but that very first flight, and it happened to Billy. He was flying over the river. He said for some reason it's gaining altitude. It did that to me out of the box, but I haven't seen it since.
Were you doing anything with the sticks? Were your hands off the sticks?
I had hand on the right hand on the stick pushing forward.
Going forward, okay. Wow.
But it went up on its own, just like what happened to Billy in his kind of first flight video. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. And I have a friend, Brian. I can't pronounce Brian's last name, but he lives in Philadelphia or flies along the river a lot. I think he's got a defective Air 3S. The obstacle avoidance goes crazy. He flies around the shipyard. He can't even get very close to him. Not only does it go up, but it won't let him get in like where he usually gets in for his shots or whatever. And he's even tried to go the sport mode, and that didn't work. And I mean, I had the video. I'll post it on Droid Nation tomorrow, whatever. It's crazy the way it performed for him. And I know it's not all drones because I flew mine right near the fishing pier, and the sensors didn't stop me from getting as close as I wanted.
We'll see. And one of the things when you have an incident like that, Ron, and that's a good example to let the audience know, one of the things that you need to do if you're doing that, pull the drone back, do an IMU calibration and do a compass calibration, and do a calibration of your controller as well too. Do all of those, get them all in sync. Especially the most important one, I think, is the IMU, because that really, that is really critical to safe operation of the drone. Now, I know Lauren told me, at least 2 or 3 years ago, before the first flight for every drone, you should do an IMU calibration. Guilty as charged, Lauren, I don't, but I should. And that's one thing I'm going to do that. Well, before I go out and do my first flight, is going to do an IMU calibration, because I think it's important. I think it's an important thing to do to make sure that that's okay. But that's really interesting what you're telling me about that, Ron. And if you find the link to that video, drop it and build a drone of your.
Yeah, I'll send it over there too. But I haven't. I just haven't got a chance to post it yet. He sent to me an email. It's to YouTube or whatever. So it's probably just a case. No matter not every drone, every product can be perfect. He probably just got defective. I'm sure he could reach out to DJI and he'll get his. They'll send him a replacement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or some special firmware fix. Who knows? But anyhow, it's one issue I've seen so far. So Bill, the summarize. It's all good on the Air 3S so far. I mean, but it's early days, as Marcus also said.
Well, I noticed that some things are trickling out on Amazon as far as accessories are concerned. I saw the new prop holders that I'm going to go ahead and order. I didn't order them yet. Are out there. There are some cases out there yet. Lycus does not have their case. I emailed my contact at Lycus. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. But some of the big names saying they're probably usually it's about 30 days out. That's what my contact usually tells me from when a drone is released until they can go ahead and get a case out. And really for them, it's really just redesigning the foam, because the exterior physical case is the same. It's just redesigning the interior foam for that and getting that process down. So I expect.
Bill, did you have a Lycus case for the Air 3?
What's that?
Did you have a Lycus case for your Air 3?
Yes, I do have that, and I haven't tried.
Did you try the S in it?
I haven't tried it yet, but
you may not need a new case.
My thinking is probably no, because I think that gimbal is definitely bigger, and I think it may sit a little different in the case. I haven't tried it yet, but I will try that probably the night before I go to bed. But I think if anything, it's probably going to sit a little wonky in there. So I'm going to wait until they get. Besides, Lycus really likes me, because when you go to their splash page, they have one of my videos is up there. So they send me free cases all the time. I got a free case for the Mini 4 Pro. I got a free case for the Air 3. I got a free case for the Mavic 3. Regular Mavic 3. I got a free case for the Mavic 3 Pro. They just every time, boom. And Valerie's like, how do you get this? How do you do this? I'm just like, evidently, when you put out a nice video and you're favorable, they like it. So what can I say?
Right.
So,
Jay Bird saying that he agrees. He thinks that you'll be fine with your current Lycus case.
yeah, we're going to give it a shot. We'll take a look here and see. So, but all in all, I mean, this has been, I think it's gone rather smoothly. All right, with just the customs thing is kind of spotty, but all in all, it's been a rather smooth release for DJI.
Yeah,
they got a firmware update out that really addresses a lot of things and adds a lot of features to this. And just when you thought how much more perfect could a drone get than the Air 3, you get the Air 3X. Okay.
And Marcus, I don't know. You said you didn't have the best light today, but this is just based just on what I saw on the screen on my control, which I guess is 1080p thing. The picture quality looked better to me on my controller, especially tonight, than what I was seeing on the Air 3. I think I could see a difference.
Yeah, I saw that when I fired, because what I do is after I film my unboxing. After I did that, I set it up on my desk here to take my shots that I can use for thumbnails, and I turn it on, and I was very impressed with how sharp and crystal clear it was. I mean, granted, it's indoors, but still, my room's pretty bright.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed with that.
Hey, in the chat here, I want to answer Bob Casey. Well, he's asking you, Bill, whether you've flown your Air 3S yet.
No, I have not. I'm going to try to get out on Thursday. Unfortunately,
Bill's got to work for a living.
I gotta work for a living here, 8 to 4:30 every day. But I'm going to try Thursday night. I have my ham radio show is tomorrow night, so I can't do that. But
Right.
Thursday after work, I'm going to try to get out there and get my first flight in. The DJI Neo. Okay.
Oh my.
There's
really
just
taking the world by storm, man.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if you saw, Adobo has already got out guards for the Neo on his Etsy store, so you can purchase them. Neon
what kind
green.
Of guards does it need? It already has guards, doesn't it? Oh, you mean bumpers? That's bumper.
Bumpers. Yeah, the bumpers that he sells.
Maybe bumpers or whatever. Yeah.
That he's selling. He just had those listed today.
Oh,
now,
good.
Now, several things here. In the first thing,
we can order the bumpers before we can get the drone. Then,
yeah, you'll get the bumpers in before you get the drone. I mean, that's just crazy stuff here. DJI makes RC-N3 compatible with Mini 4 Pro and Air 3 drones. Okay, and obviously that's by firmware update here too.
Right.
The RC-N3 comes with a maximum operating time of 3.5 hours and a charging time of around 2 hours. Weighing just 320 grams. The compact controller is designed to secure the mobile device, while the DJI Fly app on the mobile device displays high-definition camera feed in real time. Okay.
I upgraded my Mini 4 Pro this weekend, and I saw it I saw that it is capable with that new RC-N3. So I saw that pop up. Yeah.
Right, that popped up, and
Marcus had a little chart last night. Shows that the battery life is significantly less in the RC and N3 compared to what we're used to in our current controllers.
Yes, I did notice that, and I think probably part of that is due to the fact that when you're attaching the phone to it, I think it probably trickle charges the phone. I don't think there's a way around that. I could be wrong.
You used to be able to turn that off, but I don't know if you still can.
Yeah, I don't know if you can still do that or not. So I think that's probably part of the reason of that. So
plus, if you're just flying it with the intended drone, the DJI Neo, then you didn't fly along anyway, so you don't need a lot of battery life in the controller.
No, you really don't, because again, the runtime that you'll have with a Neo, I mean, that's just that really kind of is a moot point. Well, one of the other things that I did see today before we actually in this article here, and I'm trying to bring it up here. Okay. It takes a look at the Neo, but also compares it against the Hover Air X1 Pro and Pro Max. So let's go ahead and bring this up here. I thought this was a very interesting article here. And lists the key specs of the Neo drone. 135 grams, 12 megapixel, half-inch sensor, 4K at 30 frames per second, stabilization, single-axis mechanical gimbal with rock steady and horizon balancing, flight time up to 18 minutes, maximum control range 50 meters, Wi-Fi based, unique features, voice control via HeyFly, wireless audio recording, and quick shot modes. Price $199 for basic, $289 for the 3 battery combo. Okay. Hover Air X1 Pro and X1 Pro Max flying action cameras. Okay. The Pro, 191.5 grams, 4K at 60 frames per second, 1080p at 120 frames per second, slow-mo, 16 minutes flight time, built-in electronic image stabilization, automatic obstacle detection, gesture control, multiple cinematic modes for $29 early bird offer. Okay. Hover Air X1 Pro Max, 192.5, 8K at 30 frames per second, 4K at 120 frames per second, 10-bit HLG, 16 minutes, an extra vision sensor for better follow me guidance and safer flying, $579 early bird in offer. Okay. Both Hover Air drones also come with a variety of flight modes and one-click buttons, making them user-friendly while offering precision in capturing fast-moving objects or unique angles. The X1 Pro's 240 frames per second recording mode in 1080p is a standout for creating slow-motion effects, while the Pro Max's 8K video capability sets it apart from most drones in this size class. Zero said it's begun the production of the final products and intends to start shipping the drones sometime in October. Key differences, okay? Camera and video quality. The Neo captures 4K at 30 frames per second, ideal for casual videographers. In contrast, the Hover Air X1 Pro and Pro Max record in 4K at 60 frames per second and 8K at 30 frames per second, respectively, offering higher resolution and faster frame rates for professional-grade footage. Flight time. The Neo offers a longer flight time, 18 minutes, compared to the Hover X1 Pro, and X1 Pro Max is 16 minutes, giving users more time in the air for capturing content. Stabilization. While the DJI Neo comes with a single-axis mechanical gimbal for stabilization, the Hover Air drones have a two-axis gimbal with EIS and HL horizon leveling, so your footage will be rock steady even when the adventure is rough. Okay. User control and ease of use. DJI Neo has simpler controls, including voice activation and quick shots, tailored for beginners or casual users. The Hover Air models are better suited for more experienced drone operators with wider control options, including motion control, haptic feedback, and higher precision joystick control for professional content creating. Price point and shipping date. Starting at just $199, the DJI Neo is significantly more affordable than the Hover Air X1 Pro, $429, and Pro Max, $579. If budget is concerned and 4K resolution is sufficient, the Neo provides excellent value. For those requiring top-tier resolution and more advanced features, the Hover Air models justify their higher costs. Also keep in mind that the Neo pre-orders will begin to ship on October 6th from Amazon, but your receipt of Hover Air products will depend entirely on how early you order them. Okay, that's a lot right there.
That's a mouthful, Bill.
It really is. I think it all boils down to, the hovers are really kind of geared more towards the professionals, and I would say when I use the term loosely, I would say advanced hobbyists. Okay, like I would call yourself, myself, Marcus, Johnny, Ray. We're not beginners. Okay, we've been around the block a few times. Okay, and this is something I think we could be able to put to good use. Now the Neo, it's going to be perfect for what I call the TikTokers and the Instagrammers. It's going to make great video for them, and it's going to be very quick and easy to transfer that kind of video on there. DJI's made that case really clear and very, very succinct. So, I mean, really, there's the comparison is really, it's like comparing apples and oranges in this case, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, that Tom is putting out in the chat, kind of not the same drone. Well, I mean, they are the same. If you're only buying a Neo as a selfie drone, then they compare. But if you're buying a Neo to do something else, then they don't compare. But as you point out, the specs, the camera specs are so good that, like the Hover Pro Max, that pushes the specs on our better DJI drones, like the Mini 4 Pro, the Air 3. It pushes the specs on those drones. So yeah, I mean, the camera quality is a world difference from the Neo on the two new hovers, especially that Pro Max.
Yeah, yeah, and like Tom just put it there. Yeah, it's exactly right, Tom. It really is apples to
Yeah.
oranges.
Well, I mean, again, it is if you're looking at the versatility of the Neo, but if you're only buying a Neo as a selfie drone, then it's apples to apples.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
because some people, you know, a TikToker or Instagrammer that doesn't fly drones, they may be buying a Neo just to launch out their palm. They may never do anything but palm launch it. At that point, the versatility doesn't mean anything to those people.
exactly. Yeah, they're just going to be doing it and downloading video on TikTok or Instagram, and that's
Yeah.
it. That's all they're
Yeah.
going. That's all
But
they're
I
doing.
mean, but we talked about sticker shock. But I mean, if I'm an Instagram or TikToker, 199 sounds a lot better than than almost up to $600 for that Max Pro.
Exactly, exactly. Price is price is a driving force, and that's going to be very key. And I think DJI, they do a lot of research before their products come to market. And I think they really kind of hit the nail on the head with this one, especially at $199. A lot of people are going to buy it. A lot of people are going to be able to use it and be able to do their TikToks and their Instagrams with it, because I think primarily that's what we're going to see a lot of the use out of. I don't think we're going to see a lot of people who are going to take their Neo home, download the footage, and upload it to YouTube that way. Okay. I think it's going to be, they're just going to throw it out to Instagram, throw it out to TikTok, just like it is.
And with the way the hover folds up, they say the Neo is pocketable, but the hover is a lot more pocketable with the way it folds in half.
That's true. That's true. That's very true. Well, I do want to go ahead and spend some time. Drone DJ did put a great article out here about, let me bring it up here. Okay. About the Neo. And I also want to talk about several things because I've watched a boatload of videos.
How can you not, huh? If you turn
YouTube yeah. On. I mean, I think the first one I watched was Billy's, then I watched a couple of Ken's, then I watched Aldrin's, then I watched Potato Jets. I mean, it was like
I don't even need to get the drone now, Bill. I've seen it all on other people's videos. I'm good.
Yeah.
I can skip it now.
Yeah. DJI released its newest drone, offering the Neo, the ultralight, hands-free, and budget drone that still packs everything you need to capture the moment without compromise. A first of its kind drone for the company. It'll compete directly the Hover Air's X1 Pro and X1 Pro Max, which we already talked about it. And you can see right here, with the specs, 135 grams, half-image sensor, 12 megapixel stills, up to 4K 30, 22 gigabytes of internal storage, 18 minutes of flight time, DJI Mic 2 compatibility, level 4 wind resistance, automatic return to home. I mean, it really is, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck with this, Ron. For $199, that's a lot of bang for your buck.
Yep. Oh, man.
It really is. And included in both bundles are propeller guards, spare propellers, Type-C cable, screwdriver, propeller screws. One of the things that I think was really curious was, and Billy addressed it right away up front in his video when he said, that the combo isn't available in the U.S. with the controller. All right. And, I have searched high and low, and I haven't really seen any reasonable explanation why DJI has done that, Ron. Have you?
No. Again, it makes little sense. Outside of saying just a total guess, well, they think everybody in the U.S. already owns the compatible controllers.
Yeah,
that's my only guess.
Yeah, and because I'm sitting there during the show or during the launch, and lo and behold, I'm up doing my firmware update, and I see on there, and I'm reading it live on the air. DJI RC2 is compatible with the DJI Neo. Hello. Mm-hmm. The next thing I know, up pops the screen, and where you can select the drone, and the DJI Neo is right on that screen there. So,
yeah. Well, Lon said on the show last night, and Lon wasn't actually Andre, he's in chat. He said the Air 3S will ship with the DJI RC N3 if you buy the basic bundle.
I wouldn't. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So really, if you were smart, if you're a drone fan like us, if you really want that guitar, you just wait and pick it up with when another drone comes out with it included in the kit.
Exactly. Like when the Air 3S comes out, just wait for that. Okay. And here's the other thing too. Okay. For me, I've gotten spoiled with having the R2. Okay. I don't want to hook up a phone anymore. Okay.
Right.
I don't want, the last time I've hooked up a phone was when I took the Spectrum Mini out. All right.
Right. Right.
Because that, there's
Yeah.
no controller like that
Yeah.
per se. But very
I guess the only advantage of having the regular controller is if you are like a TikToker or Instagrammer and you just want to put it in like your small bag, you don't want to scratch the screen up. You would rather just throw that regular controller in a bag.
Yeah,
and not scratch the screen up or whatever.
Exactly. Okay, and I think
it is smaller and lighter than taking the RC, the DJRC2 with you.
Yeah, Michael, right.
There you go.
Yeah, I talked about that.
The new Snug Riders. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, Snug Riders. Yep. So, yeah.
Mike, did you pre-order the Neo?
Yeah, and Tom brings up a good point too. Is the community's really going to grow because of this? I mean, we're going to see an influx of people, and I hate to say they aren't really going to be Part 107ers or hobbyists like most of us, 99% of us here that watch the show. They're going to be TikTokers, Instagrammers, vloggers are going to be the ones that are going to be picking this drone up, and they're going to be doing it. Like I said, they're not going to be messing around with downloading it to their PC and editing it. They're just going to throw it out there as is. Boom, there it is. It's out there. It's on Instagram. Yeah. It's on TikTok, because that's what that generation wants. That they like those videos. They love that kind of stuff, and more power to them.
That's a good theory, but I'll be surprised when I'm actually see somebody flying a Neo out in the wild, though. Because as far as I know now, the only people talking about buying Neo are drone heads like us to buy anything.
Well, John, unfortunately, every video I've watched and every comment I've heard is decibel wise, it's not as bad as like the original Mavic Air.
But it has that whiny high pitch to it.
It has a very whiny high pitch to it. So you're not going to be stealthful when you're flying the Neo. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Indoors is probably going to it's probably going to scare the mice out of the walls.
Yeah, and I told I've already gotten the evil eye from Valerie about trying to fly this indoors, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. But it's just going to be one of those things. Mr. Marcus Crawford, how are you, sir?
Gentlemen, and I use that term loosely.
Idaho's foremost Neo expert here on the panel now,
and a new proud owner of a orange Corvette.
Orange Crush, man. That thing.
Man, wow. Okay.
Marcus, it's easier to order a new Corvette than it is a Neo drone.
Well, that's a fact. That is absolutely true. Yeah, that is
amazing. Absolutely amazing. We'll talk more about that later. But one of the things we were just talking about, Marcus, is the noise factor, the high pitch, because no matter what video you watched, okay, and I've watched them all. I watched Billy's, I watched Ken's, I watched Potato Jets, I watched Sean from Air Photography. That pitch is there. There's not a doggone thing you can do about that.
Marcus, John Olson's worried that's going to scare his cats.
It'll scare the cat.
John, you better get some headphones for your cat. That's what I can tell you. Okay, because it's loud. All right, it's loud. But that's part of the name of the game. The way the motors and the props are on it, that's just the way it's going to be. You just don't, you don't have any recourse with it. I mean, it's just not going to happen the way it's designed. That's just engineering wise, it's not going to happen. So maybe somebody will come out with some props that'll help. I don't know.
Tom said that it's a higher pitch than the Nevada 2.
Wow, that's pretty high. Okay.
Hey, did we ever get a definitive reason for why it's delayed? I've heard shipping problems and all that, but really nothing definitive.
Well, no, Casey Crime Fighter just put down his is scheduled to ship September 30th. He had just posted that on there. Okay. Wow. Joe America. Wow. Okay. Gotta be careful with that, Joe, because a lot of times getting and I'm speaking from my ham radio experience, like if you were to buy like a popular model of a ham radio that's sold here in the United States from Japan, all right, that's only made for the Japanese market, okay? And it's those kind of drone products are only made for certain frequencies up in Canada, so their controllers may operate on different frequencies than they do down here, and it might not work. So I would be very careful in doing that, just to let you know. That's just.
Well, Marcus discovered last night that Lauren's store only had the bundle with the controller available.
Okay.
Right.
That's interesting. Marcus, did Lauren say any reason why, the United States wasn't getting the bundle with the controller?
I don't know if he would know. I did not ask him, so
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm just, it's just one of those curious. It's like, okay, Valerie asked me these Curious George questions all the time. Can you tell, sweetheart, can you tell me this? Okay. And boom. All right. Well, this is kind of Bill asking, it's just curiosity for me. Was there a reason behind it? And I know Ron and I were talking a little bit about it, was that maybe because of the DJI R2 controller already working with them, and they figured a lot of people had them, there's no need to go ahead and try to bundle it up here in the United States. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I was kind of mad at first when we saw that you couldn't get the full bundle in the U.S., but then once I found out that I could fly it with my RC2, forget it. I don't need that RCN3 controller.
Yeah, and that's exactly, for me as well too. And then they just came out today and with a firmware update that for the RCN3 controller, it's going to work the Air 3 and the Mini 4 Pro. So, it's jack of all trades.
Before you came on, Marcus, I told Bill that Lon said in the chat last night that the Air 3S will come with the DJI RCN3. So if you just wait, you'll get there. And who knows, the way things are going, Bill, the Air 3S may come to us in the US before the Neo does.
Yeah, you are 100% right on that, Ron. I was thinking about that today. I said, I think DJI they're geared up to get these drones out, and I think we're going to see early October release for the Air 3S. I don't think they're going to go too deep into October. That's just me, because of what's going on in Washington and all the politics. Because
I hope you're right, Bill. I absolutely hope you're right. However, this Neo rollout isn't giving me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, Marcus and I had a private conversation today. Not that anything in the conversation is private today, but just on the phone. And Marcus, we were talking about the Neo. If the Air 3S comes out at the same time we're supposed to get the Neo, I may just cancel the Neo because I really want to fool around with the Air 3. I'm not putting the Air 3S in the back burner to mess around with this Neo. I may cancel the Neo if they come at the same time.
That's a thought.
So to your point, Ron, I already canceled the Neo. Bill, I ordered it with, I used my friend Ron Brown's link, and I ordered it. However, I ended up canceling once it got pushed out, because originally I think it said it would arrive on September 26th or something like that. And then, pretty soon it said October 6th. And then again, you got another one.
Like the 10th or something. Yeah.
October 10th. And so I said, you know what? I give. As soon as, the day that I can go on Amazon and order one and buy it.
And now I can't get mine because I don't have Marcus's affiliate money. Marcus, I lost that 5 cents.
That's
from me and my Amazon affiliate link.
That's it. But I just canceled it because I thought, well, you know what? When they're available, and I'll just get one then.
Plus, you're making a statement, Marcus. You're sticking to the man.
Well, I don't know about that, Ron, but to your point is, well, I get you're joking, I know, but you made a comment earlier that, hey, what if the Air 3S got released? Well, hey, maybe then I wouldn't even want the Neo because then you're trying to.
I want to put full concentration in the Air 3S when it comes out. I don't want to have to put it aside and make the 1,500,000 Neo video flying out of the palm of my hand. I mean, that'll be so, so last year or whatever, by that point, so last month.
And you know what, Ron, you and I aren't selfie drone people. And ultimately, that's what the little Neo is. I applaud DJI for the other technology they put into it. What did you tell Bill already about the conversation we had today about whether it's, comparing it to a camera drone or comparing it to the Avata 2, et cetera? Did you go over that math?
No.
Yeah. Bill, do you want us to talk about that? It is I think we kind of came to some.
Yeah, go ahead, for sure.
Well, Ron, I think, has correctly figured out that a lot of people are buying the Neo for its FPV capabilities, right? So just think if you're a new person and you go, okay, well, I'll buy the Neo, and you buy the 3 battery pack or whatever. Well, then you got to go out and buy the goggles 3.
Which I looked it up, Marcus. They're like about 400.
About $400. Okay, so then you got to buy either the motion controller 2, or more likely,
if you're going to do real FPV, you got to spend $200 for the FPV3 controller.
And that's what most people are going to do, is probably get that FPV3.
So that, Bill, that's $400, $200, another $300 for the battery kit. Now you're up to $900.
Why not just buy the Avata 2?
You can buy an Avata 2.
Yeah, exactly. That makes perfect sense.
From the camera drone perspective, I think it's even more, because if what you really want is to fly a camera drone with some range and some flight time, battery life, etc., why wouldn't you buy the little Mini 4K or the Mini 3? The Mini 4K.
Go with the 4K. That's $299. If you buy the Neo bundle with the controller in the US, that'd be $349. So you're paying $50 more to get a camera drone that's not as good.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So really, the real value of the Neo is that automated flight and as a selfie drone. That's where its really value comes into play. And if that's what you're looking for, that's for sure that what you'd want, and it's priced competitively. Again, though, I want to say that I'm glad that DJI added those other things to it.
We're not knocking them for that. No.
Yeah, I'm glad that they added that. I'm just saying that if what you really want is an FPV drone, buy the Avata 2, you'll be a lot happier.
Now, again, if you're somebody like Tom, if you already have all that gear, if you've already invested thousands in that gear or whatever, then it's only an additional, say $300 for you, whatever. But that's a different conversation than a beginner, somebody trying to get into the hobby.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Because you really made a great point with this, Marcus and Ron, because if you already have an Avata with all the bells and whistles, okay, getting a Neo is a no-brainer, okay, because it'll work with everything. Okay. Right. That's just, and you won't be spending that extra money because you already have that and it'll be compatible.
You've already dropped that $1,000+ for the Avata 2 kit. And you have to say Avata 2, the Avata 1 accessories won't work with it. It has to be the more Avata 2. Actually, the cheaper drone than the Avata 1.
And then if you took advantage of that deal that B&H had yesterday, you'd really be in good, okay? Because that was a crazy deal.
I think that was the Avata 1. I think that was the Avata 1, Bill, but I'm not positive.
Bill?
Let me go ahead.
It was a $788 deal, but I think it was the Avata 1 and not the 2.
Yeah, that's the Avata 1. I'm sorry. It was the Avata 1. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but still, that's a good deal.
Yeah, but the
Avata 1
goggles 2,
788. Yeah. And it's now $848.
Not saying they won't get compatible in the future, but right now they're not.
Well, whether it's compatible or not, I'm saying that if somebody wants to get into the DJI style of FPV, that Avata 1 for $800, not a bad deal.
Yeah, Tom's saying that, say you had the Avata 2 like me, you never fly manual. That if I got the deal, I may be more willing to risk the biscuit to learn on manual on the Neo since it's a cheap drone.
That's an excellent point. And I really appreciate that DJI gave us that capability. All I'm saying is, I hope that somebody new has visions of being Bardwell or something like that, and they buy that drone, and next thing you know, they're spending $1,000 getting it to do what they want to do.
Yeah, and real. I'm not saying Mark's not the typical Avata 2 owners at all, but I struggle to fly the Avata 2 once a month, let alone getting another like FPV type drone.
Yeah,
I
so
totally relate to that.
This is and I'm really glad we're having this discussion, because I'm hoping we're opening up a lot of people's eyes about the Neo. All right, because I think people have the impression, that this is going to be like a smaller version of a DJI mini drone, and they're going to be really in for I want to use the word sticker shock, but they're going to be in for a shock when they open up that package, fire it up, and take a look at it, and
a size shock is what they're in for.
Exactly.
I think Lauren hit the nail on the head yesterday on Drone Nation, where he basically, his words were, it's a gateway drug. So he gets them in the door and gets them into the DJI ecosystem, I guess, in every other country but the United States.
And Bill, I asked Lauren, I said, what does the DJI Neo do for me if I already own the Mini 4 Pro, the Air 3, the Mavic 3 Pro, and the Avata 2? What does the Neo do for me? He said, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I can tell you in my case, and I think in both of your cases too, we're technical geeks, and we just like the technology, and we like the stuff. And hey, that's why I'm going to get it. I just love that kind of stuff.
Here's a fun to fly good technology. This sits on the shelf. After you have it 6 months, it sits on the shelf and never moves again.
So that's the other conversation Ron and I had earlier today. The Neo will be awesome. I'll get it, and I'll fly it, and I'll have fun with it. But if I'm going out someplace and I want to get some cinematic video, or say I'm traveling to Hawaii,
your next trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the Neo. I'm going to take my Mini 4 Pro, or
Yeah. Basically, it's. I think we ask Lauren, or so ask somebody, is it a toy or a tool? Is it a toy or a tool? And people keep saying it's more a toy than it is tool.
I agree with that statement.
And Gary, he's learned FPV.
Yeah, he makes a great point. Jerry makes a great point there. That I totally agree with you. It's a good way to start to fly manual mode with FPV, and it's so durable that that's a really solid.
If you already own the goggles and control equipment, and you want to learn to fly manual acro or whatever, I definitely see the point to it.